Imagine you only had one fly to use for a day of fishing. What fly would it be? Who would tie it? How would you fish it? This question has spawned endless debates, fear-fueled theories, and arguments among guides and anglers alike. Every September in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, 40 teams put their skills to the test, each fishing a single fly with individual and team scores determined by quantity and length. Not just a competition for bragging rights. The One Fly raises funds for conservation and education projects that benefit the incomparable Snake River drainage and its native cutthroat trout. On a normal day, your average angler sets forth with enough different fly patterns to stock a small fly shop. On a normal fishing day, an errant cast into a bush or a snag on an underwater rock would be an occasion for a simple break-off and retie. The One Fly is not a normal fishing day.
Well, yesterday my guide climbed a tree.
Anyway,
just started. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of years of doing this, a lot of pretty epic fly saves.
when we went to launch, there's a big eddy down there.
Fly gets tucked on a stick in the bottom, pretty deep, 7 or 8 feet.
Literally climbed a tree and saved the fly. That was cool.
I get an 18-inch fish, this rainbow's jumping all over.
Our guide today was a steely-eyed trout man.
Then he went under this piece of dogwood.
I actually buried a fly in a log jam. We couldn't stop the boat, so just kind of free spooled it.
He jumped out of the boat one time. I thought my fly was a goner.
Underwater, gets the fly, went on to have a good day.
And so I took my clothes off and I jumped in head first.
I think we went down about 200 or 300 yards before we could pull in.
He jumped out into the current up to his waist and saved the boat and the fly.
At that point, the fly line had become so wrapped in the log jam that it was a total loss. We got the fly, clipped it off, actually had to put on an entire new fly line, kept fishing, stayed in the game.
So he helped me in the boat and I stood there naked and landed an 18-inch fish, 100 points.
In 1970, iconic fly angler Lee Wolf wrote an article for Outdoor Life entitled, "If You Only Had One Fly." For Jack Dennis and Paul Bruin, legendary fishing outfitters in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, reading this essay eventually became the catalyst for creating a tournament format that has remained wildly popular almost 35 years later. From the very beginning, the One Fly was destined to be a tournament that gives. In an accident during its first year, a guide tragically lost his life, prompting the event's organizers to establish a fund for his family. In a way, this tragedy was the catalyst that allowed the One Fly to find its higher purpose.
As initially it was envisioned just as kind of a continuation of the fly fishing season with some friends. And then it became, after the first event and the tragic accident, it became a cause, a very important and honorable cause, and an admirable approach, achieved something unique for the sport.
While there are many great fly tyers in the game today, one man in particular has garnered a reputation for creating productive, durable, not to mention unconventional flies that tend to do well in the tournament.
Yes, I'm the fly tyer. I'm the guy that sniffs glue and has flies hold up. I've literally tied parachutes like down to size 16 that lasted for 100 fish.
Yeah, I'm definitely in demand. A lot of times I'll get orders
for the next year, the night of the awards banquet. Yeah, I've been accused of being a drug dealer before, you know. Coming by with a briefcase or a backpack of flies with people's name on it, and everybody's kind of trying to hunt you down, texting you, calling you. Can you switch this? Can I get this?
It's easy to second guess your fly choice, to obsess over the weather report, the river levels, the dreams you had the night before, and what it all means for the particular pattern you've chosen. At a certain point, however, the day comes and you just have to go fishing. Before an event like the One Fly, even veteran participants are prone to feeling some nerves.
Yeah, before the One Fly even starts, you got to be fully prepared. And, you know, I have kind of a ritual. Like Friday before the One Fly starts, I actually get my leader and fly tied on. If I'm at home in the backyard under a nice sunny day and I do my knot to my leader to fly line and then my fly to leader, I can do it better there than I can on the stream. I actually a little nervous right before the One Fly, so that morning I don't want to be out there when it's 30 degrees trying to tie my fly and being like, okay, do I have it? Do I have it right?
At this point, guides and river sections have been assigned. Guides and anglers alike go through their pre-game rituals. Prayers to the river gods have been said. Coffee and more coffee.
Everybody's amped, and the guides are giving each other, a whole bunch of grief in the parking lot. Everybody's poking each other. We're all over trying to look and see what they're doing. Everybody's eyeballing each other also, the guides, on who's gonna push downstream, who's not gonna push downstream, who got in front of me, you've got fishermen in there that are getting all excited. I have to go over their equipment to make sure they haven't strung their rods up backwards almost. I mean, they're so excited.
Then the boats hit the water and the tournament officially begins. Although talk of fish, who caught what and how big was the one that got off, tends to dominate the conversations in the boat, the overall goal of the One Fly tournament is never far from the surface. Floating through this beautiful landscape on a pristine river will remind even the most focused angler that native cutthroat conservation is the real goal of the day.
The enduring value of the tournament isn't in who wins or loses. It's about the fact that all of the proceeds that all those anglers bring into the economy, they're plowed right back into restoration and stream access and other things that are important for anglers. So it's a terrific way to have fun, but also to give back to this resource that gives us so much and asks for so little in return. One of the signature projects that the One Fly Foundation made possible is this place called Spread Creek. Basically, it's an irrigation dam used to block dozens of miles of additional spawning and rearing habitat that were up in some really pristine places like National Park and Forest Service managed lands. And we worked with the private landowner and figured out a way to create an irrigation diversion that allowed him to get his water, but then it reconnected 50, 60, I think it might be even 70 miles of spawning and rearing habitat for native cutthroat. I think the One Fly is a remarkable testament to the value of giving back, giving something back to the community we love, to these rivers we love, and to these fish that we love and care so much about. If more institutions, more organizations acted in a similar manner to the One Fly and the One Fly Foundation, the world would be a lot better place, and not just for anglers.
Since 1993, the Jackson Hole One Fly has raised over $2.3 million while joining matching funds from others to bring together over $18.9 million. That's over $20 million for select trout conservation projects. In the end, the Jackson Hole One Fly is a fishing competition that isn't really about the fishing or the fishermen. It's about the fish and ensuring that this spectacular resource thrives for the next generation.